Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name's Ian. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my February TBR. I feel a little bit out of practice, to be honest, because I batch filmed like 5 videos at the very start of January and I have not filmed a thing since then. To be honest, January was a really weird month. I'm not even at the end of it as I'm filming it, but I experienced a reading slump. Everything in the world was stressing me out and work was crazy and I've been sick twice. It was a month. Did I already say reading slump? I think I did. But yeah, I had a pretty severe reading slump in January, and so my TBR did not go as planned at all. It was too ambitious, and I failed miserably. And so for February, I'm going to try to keep it very low pressure, very low key. Pretty much all of these are mood reads. There are a couple books that I've committed to buddy reads, but starting in March, I'm going to try to limit the number of buddy reads I commit to. Really just do the book clubs I'm a part of. So that's the Stephen King book club and the John Marrs book club. Everything else, I'm going to try to not really commit hardcore to anything because I just don't do well when I do that. I end up disappointing myself and or others. So yeah, that's the plan going forward. But for February, I'm going to talk to you guys about all the books I'm planning on reading, feeling like reading. I may or may not read any of these, to be honest, because I'm just going to let my mood dictate what I read. Because to be honest, this is a hobby. I should not be stressing myself out about trying to read certain books or trying to read certain numbers of books and all that jazz. If I'm not having fun, there's just no point. Before we jump into the books, though, it would mean the world to me if you would like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos every week, and I would love it if you stuck around and talked books with me. Now let's talk about the books that I'll be reading in February. So first up, I did want to talk about the book clubs that I'm a part of. First up is the Stephen King book club that I host with Jake from The Bookish Drummer. Our February book is From a Buick 8, which I actually know like nothing about, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't know if it's like a haunted car or somebody in a car who's like a serial killer or something. This is like 80s Stephen King, I think, maybe 90s. I don't think it was 2000s, was it? Oh, it was. It was 2002. Wow, this book is not as old as I thought it was. But yeah, this is the book we're going to be reading in February, so I would love it if you joined us. I'll leave a link to the Bookish Drummer Discord down below. This is our February book. We've had a blast so far with everything we've read, and we have a lot of really exciting books for the rest of the year. The other book club that I am co-hosting in February or throughout 2025 is the John Marrs book club that I'm co-hosting with Fina from Fina Reads and Stacy from the Chapter Conundrum, also on the Bookish Drummer Discord. And for the John Marrs book club this month, we will be reading The One by John Marrs. Now, this is actually the first John Marrs book that I ever read. I read it maybe 2 years ago. I don't know if I'm going to end up rereading it or not, but I will at the very least participate in the discussion because I really enjoyed The One. Actually, I think I read this book for the first ever Battle of the Bands readathon on the Bookish Drummer Discord, which is super funny that now we're doing a John Marrs book club on there. But anyway, yeah, this is a really fun story where basically technology has progressed to the point where you can take a test and find out who your perfect match is. The one is for you. And this book does a really interesting take on that with a lot of different point of views and a lot of different issues that arise as a result of this technology. Really fascinating, a really good read. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I gave it 4 stars. And so you should definitely read this book and join the John Marrs book club if you are at all interested in his books. It's going to be great. And the other read-along that I've committed to reading for February is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky on the Bookish Drummer Discord. I'm actually super excited about this because I have been meaning to and trying to get to make myself read. I can't talk, guys. I'm still sick. I've been trying to get myself to read one of this author's books for ages. I tried other ones. I say tried. I put them on my TBR, but I was always so intimidated that I never even actually attempted to commit to reading them. But we have a handful of us who are going to be reading this on the Bookish Drummer Discord, and I'm hoping having people to discuss it with and kind of hold me accountable on will get me to really invest in it. I'm very excited about this, and Fina got me this for Christmas, so it works out really nicely. So thank you so much to Fina for getting me this, and to everyone who's going to be joining us on the read-along on the Bookish Drummer Discord. It's going to be great. Before we jump into my mood reads, though, it's time to draw my subscriber recommended book for February that I'll be adding to my February TBR. So a couple things. First of all, if you don't know about this, every time one of my subscribers recommends a book to me in my comments, I put it on a piece of paper and I add it to this jar, and I draw 1 book a month to try to read from my subscriber recommendations. Now, I'm putting the caveat of try now because I learned my lesson in January. I drew 4 books to read from subscribers in January, and it didn't go super well. Not necessarily, again, because of the books, but just because I'm such a hardcore mood reader. I never want to force myself through a book because I am inclined to hate read it in the end and not enjoy my time with it, when if I read it at a different time, I may enjoy it quite a bit. So yes, I'm going to try to read whatever book I draw out of this. No promises that I'll finish it, but I'm going to try. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and try to draw a book out of here, because I have big hands, and this is a... Never mind, I'm not going to finish that sentence. All right, here we go. Oh, perfect. This is Sula by Toni Morrison, recommended to me by Aisha A309. So thank you so much, Aisha. This is actually perfect because this book is on my 25 books I wanted to read in 2025. Sula, I'm so excited about this. I've been wanting to read more Toni Morrison, and this is short. Thank God, because I had some chunkers last month. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Aisha, for the recommendation. I truly appreciate it. I cannot wait to read Sula in February. This is awesome. Let's move on to the mood read. So first up, I am going to go ahead and include This Inevitable Ruin, the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. The audiobook finally comes out, I think, on the 11th of February. So excited for this. I was going to try to reread book 6 before I read book 7. I haven't done that yet. We'll see if it happens. If not, I'll just jump into book 7 and figure out along the way. I'm sure that there will be enough reminders as I go through it of what is going on. It'll be fine. But yeah, very excited about that. Next up, I have a book that I was sent by an indie publisher here in Dallas called Deep Vellum Books, and the book is Ultramarine. It is by Mariette Navarro, and it is translated from the French by Eve Hill Agnes. I am super excited about this. I've already started it, and the writing is just so hypnotic and engaging and atmospheric and wild, and I'm super enjoying it. So in this, we follow a female captain of this ship, and it's very much a male-dominated field, so there's kind of some thoughts and experiences she has that are kind of unique to that situation, but there's also this pending sense of doom throughout the story. And at the very beginning, she like stops her ship and she lets her crew get out and swim in the sea because they want to, and I think it says like, so it says, when they go out, there are 20 men, and 21 of them come back. So who is this extra person? What is going on? I have yet to discover that. They just got in the water, the part where I'm at. I've only read like 20 pages or something like that, but I'm very excited to find out more. I've made it a goal of mine to read more translated fiction in 2025, so very, very excited about this. Thank you so much to Deep Vellum Books for sending me this advanced reader copy. I will definitely have a review out for this in February. Very much enjoying this so far. Completely different lane. We have Star Wars Path of Destruction, book 1 of the Darth Bane series. So I saw a video, I think it was from Evan from Book Reviews Kill, and he was talking about how like people are always looking for like cozy or comforting reads, and to him the most comforting thing is just Star Wars books. And that resonated with me, not because I've read a bunch of Star Wars books, but just because there's something so welcoming about the world of Star Wars, and so familiar and so engaging and comforting. And so I actually got this as part of a White Elephant gift exchange that my book club does every year. And I was like, you know what, this is perfect. So I am excited about this. It does follow the fearsome Sith Lord Darth Bane, like hundreds or thousands of years before the start of the prequel trilogy. So I'm not sure it's going to be super cozy. This guy doesn't look particularly cozy, but I'm excited to read some Star Wars books and hopefully just find some really nice escapism in this book, because I'll tell you what, I need to escape a little bit. Speaking of books that are going to help me escape, though, it's finally time, you guys. It is finally time to read When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I begged and pleaded Tor Nightfire for an arc of this book, and they were so kind to send this to me. And it has been calling to me since late December. I thought about reading it in January, but my TBR was just so stacked. And like I said, I was just really in quite a bit of a reading slump. And so I was like, you know what? Just going to save it for February, but it's time. This book comes out in April, so I do have a couple of months till it's out, but I want to read it now. I can't wait any longer. I'm very, very excited about it. And, I love Nat Cassidy. If you want to know anything about his books, I have a video talking about all 3 of his books that I've read, those being Mary, Nestlings, and his novella Rest Stop. Loved all of them, so definitely check that video out, but this is his new book. It's got werewolves. That's all I really know about it, and that's all I need to know is that it's written by Nat Cassidy and it's got werewolves, so totally in. Next up, I did want to talk about the group read for my family book club that we're reading for Q1 this year, and that is Water Moon. I'm very excited about this. It is a brand new release. It just came out in January, and essentially it's about a woman who inherits this business from her father where it's a pawn shop where people come to pawn off their regrets. And then I think her father goes missing or is kidnapped, and so she has to set out on this journey with this stranger to try to find her father as well as deal with her own stuff. I am so excited about this. One person in my book club has now read it, and she gave it 5 stars. It's a good sign. Very excited about this. If you've read this, let me know what you think. I'm pumped. And lastly is the nonfiction book that I plan on prioritizing in February. That is Creep by Miriam Gerba. So this is a book that I actually received a review copy from Avid Reader Press back at the end of 2023, and I did not get around to reading it, even though I wanted to. And then someone on TikTok who I follow, it was his favorite book of 2024. And he reads like tons and tons of nonfiction. I'll go ahead and leave his channel linked down below. I think he's on YouTube too. But anyway, this comes highly recommended from that individual, and I'm really excited to read it. It's just about the idea of a creep in society. The back of this says, Creep is Miriam Gerba's blistering and slyly informal sociology of creeps, the individuals who deceive, exploit, and oppress, and creep culture, the systems, tactic, rules, and institutions that feed them and allow them to grow and thrive. In 11 bold, electrifying pieces, Gerba mines her own life and the lives of others, some famous, some infamous, some you've never heard of, but will likely never forget, to unearth the toxic traditions that have long plagued our culture and enable the abusers who haunt our books, schools, and homes. There's a bunch more on the back of this, but you get the gist. This is so fascinating, and I cannot wait to read this. My nonfiction reading has been all over the place, as you'll see in my January wrap-up, but that's kind of what I want to read right now, is a lot of nonfiction. So I plan on reading 1 to 2 nonfiction books a month, and I'm just having such a good time with it. But anyway, that's the video. These, again, are the books that I'm planning on reading in February, as well as some audiobooks here and there. But let me know in the comments what you're hoping to read in February. I think it's going to be a better reading month for me than January. Not even numbers-wise, because the numbers don't matter, but I always want to be reading something, and I always want to be enjoying what I'm reading. That's what it comes down to. So very excited, very hopeful for these books, but let me know what you think of them in the comments if you've read them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.